Hello again, Rebecca here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to Stretch the Sketch. It is a monthly series hop where everyone takes the same sketch and either stretches it into a double page layout or triple, or they shrink it down into something else. So I'm going to use the Echo Park Bark collection and I'm going to stretch this layout into a double page, and I'm just going to get 8 photos scrapped of my lovely puppers, who was the first dog I ever owned. Her name was Tootsie. She is no longer with us. She has since crossed that rainbow bridge, but I do still like to document the pictures that I have of her. So first I'm going to go ahead and trim off the branding strips. I will take this tone-on-tone blue chevron, and this Echo Park collection came with 2 of each of the pattern papers. I take the navy blue tone-on-tone paper and this fun paw print paper, and I'm going to go ahead and create the layout using all of those. I will be pulling in some yellow close to my heart cardstock, as you can see there, and I'm going to go ahead and mat all my photos. Now off screen I did just go ahead and take 2 of the photos and cut them into a circle, and one, as you can see, is kind of like got part of the circle cut off, and that is simply because that was where the photo cut off, but I am going to tuck it under, so it's going to be fine. I'm going to pull out my trimmer, and I'm just going to kind of somewhat cut some straight lines, and I come in with my scissors anyway, guys, and just do the wonky lines because this was like too tedious, and I was like, I don't want to do this. Let's just be honest. I am doing a voiceover today. Yeah, it's been quite a day here, you guys. I'll be doing several voiceovers. I recently this week went back to on-site working, so I've been in the office. So I have 2 hours of commute time now, and when I get home and we do dinner and we do everything, I pretty much go to bed because, I'm not used to like leaving my house. And then I get up in the morning and I've been a little tired, so I have actually neglected my craft room for the last 2 or 3 days. I know. It's a shame. I'm just as shocked as you. I did work all the way up until I knew that, I got really far ahead on my videos. I just didn't do the voiceovers. However, I have recently found time to get them done today because at 5 a.m. this morning of the voiceover, which is Thursday, June 10th, my son called me at 5 a.m. to let me know he was on it. Well, he texted me to let me know he is on his way home from work. And he drives my car because he takes whatever car he can. He has his own, but he prefers mine. So he called me and he said, I'm going to be late. I have my tire. I blew my tire out. I'm on the side of the road. And I was like, okay, well, you're not driving. And he said, no, he's fine. So I wake my fiance up, and yes, totally my fault. My son does not know how to change a tire. That is going to be rectified this weekend, just so everyone knows. So I wake my fiance up. Now my son is 40 minutes away. We live in Livingston. He works in Granite City. So he's 45 minutes away. My fiance gets up, and I'm like, he has to take the other car. And we actually have 3 vehicles, but my son wrecked the truck, and it's not legal yet. Yeah, a long story with the vehicles, you guys. And I was working from home, so there was no need to get a 3rd vehicle. Well, there is now. So my fiance goes to help my son. My son calls me. A nice man, a gentleman at work, was like, are you okay? And he's like, my dad's, because I didn't want to, don't be like my mom's boyfriend. Just say my dad. He's like, my dad's on the way. And the guy was like, all right, well, but, I'll help you. Just let me know, Sam. And he was like, all right, well, thank you. Hang up with my son. My fiance calls me and says, it just hit the fan, babe. I'm in Edwardsville, which is halfway between Sam and me now, Livingston and Granite City. He's in Edwardsville, and the car is smoking, and it's overheating and about to blow up. And I'm like, well, isn't this fabulous? So all morning long, it was, how do we get the vehicles home? So I called my son back, and I said, Robbie's not going to make it to you because now he's broke down in Edwardsville. And my son is like, okay. And I said, is that gentleman still there? And Sam said yes. So he helped him change his tire. Sam put the donut on, drove 45 miles an hour for 45 minutes. So an hour and a half later, Sam makes it home. I'm able to slowly drive to get my fiance because I still have a donut, and he limps the car back home, pulling over every like 10 to 15 minutes to put antifreeze back into the car because it is a blown hose. Luckily, the heater coil, something bad. It is smoking. We finally get it home. A tow truck is on the flatbed is on the way to take this to an import dealer because it's a Volkswagen and a diesel and a turbo. So this little sucker you just can't take to the local shop. You have to take it to a specialized place. Yes, I know, Mom bought a really good car. Now I have physically no vehicle sitting at my house right now because they are all at, one is sitting here waiting for the flatbed to pick it up. The other is now getting the tire repaired, and it will be fine. There is nothing wrong with that car. But so this weekend, needless to say, we are going to be looking to purchase a new car. All right, rambled along. So that's just kind of what I've been dealing with, you guys. I do apologize, but man, I had to tell somebody. It's been a mess. I wasn't even able to go to work today because no vehicle. So as I was rambling, you've seen that I matted my photos, layered them up onto the paw print paper, layered that up on the yellow cardstock, and then again on the dark blue paper to create the band of photos that are going to sit on opposite sides of this double page layout. I am now going to take the paw prints and the yellow cardstock and trim those down to make that fun little border piece. And I'm just going to use the scraps that I have and piece it together because it's going to go underneath everything. Now, I think on the sketch it was kind of on top in between the layers. Yeah, but I totally switched that up. So, yeah. So I'm just going to trim those down and get those stuck. I do make one simple little mistake here. You'll see I go ahead and get that stuck down. I cut this one in half because I do want to go ahead and try to use that on the other side as well without wasting it. Kind of see where I'm going to put that little circle picture of the Tootsie Monster. I get her stuck right there. And then I make sure I glue that down. Now I'm going to go ahead and stick this one in. I kind of get it stuck. I'm going to grab my T-square ruler. And line that up. Now I'm not making it touch the edge because that's what it called for on the sketch. Okay? I put that page aside, I grab the second page. I'm going to use the balance of this little guy, and here's where I realize that needs to run off the edge because it's supposed to be connecting, and it's not supposed to touch on just the outer edges, which would be on the opposing page. So I have to make one more of these little bitty pieces, and I just pull out the scraps again, just trim them down to the correct sizes, and we will have that on there. I will get the other circle photo of my little Tootsie Monster. Actually, I called her Tootsie Monster, you guys, and I called her Baloo. I called her Baloo more than I called her anything because I used to say Tootsie Baloo. That was like, her registered name was Rebecca Sweet Little Tootsie Roll, but yeah, I called her Baloo. So I called my dogs have names, but I call them something else, like Gizzy. His name is Gizmo, but I've called him Mo most of his life because he was Gizzy Momo. And Becca is her real name, but I call her Bee or Bumble or Brown Dog. Really don't know where brown dogs started from. I mean, she's a brown dog, so obviously. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and add some of these. It's been a crazy day, you guys. I am punching out some circles from the balance of the scraps that I have, and we're going to create those cute little circle elements all around the page. So while I'm getting those punched and adhered down to the page, I want to remind you that today, words are hard. I want to remind you that this is a hop for Stretch the Sketch. So listed down in the description box below will be a link to all the other lovelies that are playing along. So please hop on over, check them out, give them some love, and see what they took and if they shrunk or made or stretched this sketch. I also went ahead and punched out some floral bits from the remaining yellow. I had actually punched out 2 yellow circles, and then I realized I didn't want to use the yellow circles, so I turned them into flowers. And we are just going to sprinkle all these little bits here and there around the page. I absolutely love playing along with this series. It is one that I had watched and followed all of the ladies create with, and I've seen some wonderful creations, and I was super excited when it was an open invite and I was accepted to play along. I love playing along in the hops and seeing how everyone takes one thing and creates a whole bunch of other things. It's extremely exciting to me. Something recently that I have been doing, if you guys have noticed, is using my tweezers. Those are not the craft tweezers that, you know, you actually have to squeeze to hold them closed. But I just pick them up and they're so big they fit right in my hand. And I kind of like I like the reverse tweezers, but these are just normal tweezers, and I like those as well. It just helps me not to get my fingers stuck in and out and all over the page. This video, I believe, is quickly coming to an end. Like I said, I filmed it quite some time ago, so I'm not 100% sure when it's going to end or not. So fingers crossed that I don't mess that up. Today is also, I'm watching on my channel, my 1,000 subscriber YouTube hop, and I just keep getting all these messages across my screen. So I want to thank you all if you watched and left comments. In case you see me, if I pause, it's because something is coming across my screen and I was reading it. When I first punched all these out, I absolutely 100% forgot that I needed to do enough for 2 pages. So clearly I go ahead and punch everything else out. I am popping up these 1-inch circles onto some foam tape just to give this double page layout some lift. It was pretty flat, so I wanted to make sure that I just pop them up. And I'm actually just using my pin blade craft knife there. As I take off the adhesive, I'm making sure it sticks, and then it's just tacked just a little bit to the knife. So I just go ahead and use that to place them around the page. I am lapping them on the photo. I am also just kind of making cute little clusters. And I'm really loving the way that this page turned out. And I was able to use up a lot of this collection as far as the scraps that I had left over. I have a really bad habit, at least in the past, because I'm trying to rectify that. But I would get a collection, I would make a layout, and I would put it all back together and put it on my shelf and never touch it again. And so I have all these collections that only have a few things used out of them. And so that is my focus for the year. You guys know that I have several focuses, right? I am trying to use the items as they come into my craft room. Like, I want to use them up, keep them in a rotation, and keep pulling from them. But also I'm trying to start using up all of the collections that are partially used. So I am still going to have lots of collections that I have had that are not used, but we'll work on those in 2022, right? So I am going to go ahead and create the title, and I realized at this point that the last time I used this exact same collection, it was to do a Tootsie layout, because the letter stickers that are missing spell out Tootsie. So I have to get creative, and I have to turn a Q into an O and a 1 into a T, which I will do right here. I'm just looking for a letter that I feel like I will use at the very least, like one of the letter, a Z or something. So a letter that I can't, like I wouldn't take a V, because I can flip that over and turn it into an A type thing. So I was just looking for something that I could create a different, not that it wouldn't be easy to create another letter with, just to make the little hashtag. I'm going to go ahead and pull out the sticker sheet. That was a lot of explanations for the Tootsie. I'm going to put bark on the other side. It's not really a title, it's just kind of an embellishment. But yeah, so if you liked my layout and my rambling stories of my today's events, speaking of Brown Dog, here she is. Please give me a thumbs up. Click that subscribe button down below if you have not already. I would love to have you join in and leave some comments down below. And that is going to do it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.